It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Monday? We do, you do. From the Dixieline Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, coming off a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Monday bonus podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host who's in studio rather than being outside left field where his opinions are valued because it's 96 degrees outside. John Riley joins us here. This podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers. 9 locations to serve you. You got projects, they've got materials, you want ideas. Just think about what they can offer you. Go to Dixieline.com to find out what they can do. They've been in business more than 100 years in San Diego. John Riley, what a fun weekend, what a controversial weekend, what a weekend that has now evolved into a whole bunch of stories now that we're on the air on this live stream on Monday. How you doing?
Doing good. You know, I mean, we had a little NFL going on over the weekend in Canton, Ohio. The pennant races are heating up. It's a good time to be alive.
We're going to go a lot of different directions on this podcast. Why? Because we do sports talk the way it should be done on this podcast. Prime example, we will hit you with a lot of hot topics on the table. John and I will make comments. Then we'll open it up to what we call fans forum. It's like old sports talk radio. Get off your ass and get on the phone. Well, here you need to get on into the fans forum chat box. John, where is it? How do all the people on the live stream who watch us live, how do they jump in?
Where is the chat box? I can't find the chat box. Okay, go on the live stream on X, on YouTube, Facebook. Just type in your comments there. We'll get you in fans forum. I already see Carlos talking about baseball attendance, and Roberto wants to know about Michael King and Padre pitching, and XX Revolution says hello from Canada. Everyone's ready to go, Lee.
So, fans forum in the chat box when we're done with hot topics on the table. You like sports? Have you read my column I write on my website every day of the week? Just go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com. It's there first thing every morning. I guarantee you give me 5 minutes, you'll know everything there is in the world of sports. Want you to join Hacksaw's Insiders Group? You can register to become part of the Insiders Group. It'll put you on our inside email list. We send out at least 2 emails a day. Just fill out the entry blank. It's right on the homepage of my website. If you love sports, I want you to join me. Take part in all the other unique things. Social media, I want you on my team. Twitter All-Star Group, just go to X, type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, and hit the follow button. That way you'll get the chance to take part in all the mini polls that I put up, because I do that every night on social media. Share, tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll get the alerts every time John or I or John put things up on the YouTube channel, and we do that during the course of the week. So we got you covered. We're going lots of different directions because we do sports talk the way it should be done. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm always ready for you, man.
Do it.
Okay, here we go. Hey, it was a Los Angeles or maybe a San Diego Chargers day.
Hall of Fame Day, Fawcett Stadium, Canton, Ohio, on the steps of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was a really cool ceremony. I called it a San Diego Chargers Day. But at the end of the day, thank you to Chris Berman. He mentioned San Diego Chargers 4 or 5 times in the introductory ceremonies. Got standing ovations from Charger fans that were there. And it was special. I mean, I thought the speeches were great. Jared Allen, the Minnesota Viking, showed up with his cowboy hat. He talked about the all-in, all-the-way speech that has fueled his very successful career. Unique, really different guy. Ex-Minnesota Viking. Eric Allen, the San Diego native, Point Loma star, talked about focus, family, focus, football, and all the different stops. Then they wrapped it up by quoting their favorite phrase in Philadelphia, where he started for the Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly. And then there was Sharp. He was pretty impressive. Talked about his brother Shannon Sharp, talked about Shannon Sharp giving him his first Super Bowl ring as a gift. And now Sterling Sharp gave Shannon Sharp his Hall of Fame jacket. It was a really good speech about brothers and the brotherhood of pro football. And then it was Antonio Gates. What an unbelievable finale of a speech to wrap up the induction ceremonies. Here's this big, tough guy weeping, getting standing ovations, and saluting all of his teammates along the way. The Rivers, the Tomlinsons, the Merrimans, all those guys, that camaraderie was there in Canton. I really thought the ceremonies were cool. I thought the speeches were cool. Do you own a Jared Allen type cowboy hat? I mean, it was,
Nice.
I thought the ceremony was really, really neat from a lot of different dimensions. And again, there were only 4 guys who got in. And the most amazing thing, 2 of the guys that got in, you've heard me use the phrase, everybody comes from somewhere. Antonio Gates came from Kent State, did not play college football. Jared Allen came from Idaho State, Big Sky Conference 1AA. And those guys are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, obviously, with the greatness of Sharp and the greatness of Eric Allen. Do you like the speeches from those guys?
Yeah, they were great. And like Eric Allen's an interesting guy because do you think of him more as an Eagle or more as a Raider?
I think more of him as an Eagle, but he had a great career with the Raiders. I think of him more than anything else as glue. He had, I think the number, they said 36 interceptions in his career, which is pretty impressive. He took 8 back for touchdowns. I mean, this is a really...
Was he using Stickum back in the day?
Yeah, probably was. He played for those guys. Yeah, he probably cheated. But no, it was... I thought the ceremonies were cool. And Jared Allen, I mean, I knew of him. I saw him play. High motor guy. Jared Allen was Max Crosby before Max Crosby. And you know what Max Crosby is in modern day football. So I thought the 4 induction ceremonies were great. But it turned out to be, I think, a San Diego Charger day.
Oh, for sure.
Because they flashed every time Antonio Gates made a comment about the lightning bolt. They flashed to one of the Charger players sitting in a whole collective group. There must have been 50 of them total, family and former players.
Well, a lot of fans too.
Exactly. So that was really cool. And they almost ruined it because right at the front end of the induction ceremonies, they had to show Dean Spanos. Just took the air out of the balloon for a short time. But I thought the speeches were just spectacular.
How long have they been doing this video, like, to introduce the player? Because
they've just kicked that in the last couple of years because the ceremonies are getting way too extended. Because you'd have somebody do the introduction. I'm introducing da-da-da-da, and it'd be a long comment. And then you have the player do a 20 to 30-minute speech, which ceremony is way too long. So they made it succinct. They used NFL films to put together the videos.
Yeah, it was nice. I like that.
They did a really good job.
Have they always done it in that stadium?
Yes.
And I think that's going to change now going forward, right?
Well, they're building a new, I'm not going to say museum, but they're building an entertainment center adjacent to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think it'll become an indoor venue.
Okay, but they're still going to have that stadium.
Oh, yeah, stadium's there because that's the home of Canton McKinley High School football.
Oh, it's a high school stadium.
Oh, yes.
I didn't know that.
But the NFL and the former owner, the late owner of the Saints, Tom Benson, poured a lot of money into that stadium to refurbish it and upgrade it. So
nice.
It's cool. And high school football, it's king.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that's your home stadium. That's awesome.
Canton McKinley, Massillon Tigers, Warren, Harding. Oh, that Ohio Valley area, high school football. That's what life is there.
Nice.
Okay, so that's the induction ceremonies. I thought they were great. Let's talk about the guy that wore the lightning bolt for 16 years.
Yeah, Antonio Gates. Look at these quotes. I mean, just what a speech.
His speech was stunning. I mean, this was a tough guy. This guy was a man who said, I'm going to tell you what I believe is important, and I'm not going to cry. Well, a tough guy cried 5 or 6 times during the course of his speech. But he was humble. He was honest. He was truthful. He talked about what was the most important aspect of everything. And he started with, thank you, God, for my gifts. Wow. And then he talked about growing up in the inner city of Detroit. And Detroit built this Hall of Famer. He talked about being a young guy going to Kent State to play basketball, not football, and how they took this raw talent that made him a polished gem. And then he talked about going to the National Football League undrafted, being found by A.J. Smith, coached by Norv Turner and Marty Schottenheimer, and said the Chargers coaches redirected my life. He talked about the legacy of the great tight ends. I don't remember seeing John Mackey very much, but he was the first of the greatest of the greats at tight end. But he talked about the Mackeys and he talked about the Kellen Winslows, giving him a lane to become a star. And then he pointed out to the guy who wore 17 for the Chargers for his whole life, Phillip Rivers, calling him the heartbeat and the IQ of the team. And then he pointed out the guy sitting right next to Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, already enshrined Hall of Fame person. And his closing comment, San Diego will always be home in my heart. And I just want everybody to remember, San Diego Charger.
Oh,
and again,
yeah.
Every time they introduced somebody, there was linkage to San Diego Chargers at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I thought it was so cool. And he's such a classy guy. What an unbelievable career. Everybody comes from somewhere. He came from Kent State as a basketball player, and he's on the steps of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I thought it was a moving speech.
You know, I thought it was a great speech too. And first of all, I was thinking, I never really heard much of Antonio Gates when he played here in San Diego. I mean, he wasn't the go-to spokesman guy, you know. He wasn't in front of the cameras all that often.
It was Rivers.
Yeah, it was always Rivers or someone else.
And Tomlinson was a very quiet individual.
Yeah. Yeah. So the speech was wonderful. The shout outs to his guys, you could feel the emotion when they were zoomed in on Phillip Rivers and everyone's kind of wearing sunglasses to hold back the tears. There was a line that he delivered. It said something like, his coaches protected him from predators
at Kent State.
That was a pretty bold statement to make. I mean, I guess,
understand where he came from. Inner city of Detroit, crime, drugs, killings, and he got out of Detroit.
Incredible. I mean, so what a guy. I mean, what a career. I remember when he was a rookie and we were all like, oh yeah, I got this project, that we hope we can develop him. But who was the starting tight end that year when Gates was a rookie?
Good question.
Because there was a guy that was a pretty established star, if I remember.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but he redefined the position.
Oh,
and then suddenly every general manager in the NFL did what A.J. Smith did. They went looking for an athlete that they could build who might be, they were looking for a basketball player who might be a tight end.
Yeah.
And we had a flurry of maybe 5 or 6 years. All of a sudden, these basketball players were showing up on NFL rosters, few and far between. Nobody ever became an Antonio Gates. But think about that. Basketball player, 955 receptions. A basketball player, 166 career touchdowns.
It's just incredible. I mean, look at the guy there. I mean, what a stud. I mean, what a career.
Good person too.
And a good guy. Yeah.
So it was great. What a great day. Hall of Fame day. San Diego Chargers day. End of sermon on that. We got news and notes around the National Football League. We're going to go a lot of different places as we head towards the first full weekend of NFL preseason games. John, go ahead.
Yeah, training camp updates. Let's bounce around the NFL.
Please explain to me why this happened. This guy's a pretty good football player. Denzel Perryman, Chargers starting linebacker inside. He's had a good career. Arrested. 5 firearms in the trunk of his car. Now, I'm willing to give him some space till we try to understand the rest of the story. But he got stopped by police outside of Los Angeles on Friday on a traffic violation. Opened up the trunk, and there's 5 firearms, including 2 AR-15s. Now, we don't know at this point whether they were all licensed or not. But he was going to a shooting range on his off day because he's a hunter. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But in this day and age of society, to have AR-15s in your trunk, that's an area maybe you shouldn't go to. One other Charger note. I don't know where this is going to lead to, They just met over the weekend with Keenan Allen. They brought the legendary Charger wide receiver in for a free agent visit. He was in Chicago last year with the Bears, caught 70 passes, has not been re-signed, has visited a whole bunch of teams, but has not signed a contract with anybody. Now, the Chargers have an awful lot of youth at wide receiver opposite the second-year guy, Ladd McConkey. But I just don't understand that Keenan Allen adds a dimension, because every receiver the Chargers have gone out to get since Joe Horwitz has been there as general manager has been a guy with speed. That's not Keenan Allen's game. So we'll see where that story goes. Kansas City. We've talked often about Rashee Rice. He knows he's going to get suspended by the National Football League. Over the weekend, for the first time, he talked to the media about what he got involved in, the drag racing incident 2 years ago, where he and another teammate drag racing their Lamborghinis wrecked and hit 3 other cars, injured a whole bunch of people. He said he's become a changed person, a different person by virtue of that bad experience. He also confirmed that he paid over $1.1 million in medical cost of all the people that were injured in this drag racing incident, 3 other cars. I think a total of 8 people. That being said, I understand contrition. I understand the amount of money you spent. That being said, you left the scene of a bad accident. You walked and ran away, you and your teammate. That's bad. So he's going to get suspended. 2 games, maybe 4. Only time will tell on that. Dallas, Micah Parsons. I don't understand Parsons. I don't understand Jerry Jones. Why would Jerry Jones circumvent the player agent and sit and negotiate with Micah Parsons specifically? They come to an agreement. Contract does not get signed. Micah Parsons now has his agent contact Jerry Jones about, we want to review the contract you guys agreed upon. Jerry Jones says, no, a deal is a deal. I made the deal with the player. Well, why would Jerry Jones circumvent the agent? Jerry has met with other players about their contracts, but so that's created an issue. Now Micah Parsons goes public on Sunday and says, I've had enough. I want out. Jerry Jones says, no, you agreed to a $42 million a year contract that makes you number 1 at linebacker in the entire NFL. We're not trading you. We're not letting you out of this contract. You need to get back on the practice field. So that thing is a real standoff. That's really ugly. Jacksonville, the number 1 pick, Travis Hunter. He played both sides of the football in their Friday night scrimmage.
Cool.
He was pretty cool on offense. Took 17 snaps at wide receiver. He caught 3 balls for 43 yards. He was running routes over the middle. He was doing twirlettes, catching stuff up in the air on the sidelines. He was impressive. He also played 21 snaps at cornerback, but they never threw at him, which was kind of surprising. I thought they would have tested him. But Jacksonville was really pleased with Travis Hunter. I just don't know that once we get to the regular season, the first week of September, that Travis Hunter is going to be able to play that many snaps both sides of the ball with the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense. Cleveland, Joe Flacco is your starting quarterback. Just absolutely amazing to me. Kenny Pickett has still not been cleared with a hamstring injury. Dylan Gabriel took part scrimmage-like atmosphere on Friday. He was miserable. He just couldn't handle the pass rush. He couldn't handle the size of the guys with their hands up. He was scrambling for his life. He's thrown into the ground. He threw an interception. Shadur Sanders, he's got a sore shoulder. He's on the sidelines, and he's just playing catch with the trainer. He looks so far away from being on anybody's active roster, remains to be seen. Cleveland. Not only is winter coming, Joe Flacco might be your starting quarterback at age 42. So interesting story there. Last one, the Canadian Football League Winnipeg Blue Bombers. CFL, 3 downs. CFL, 110-yard field. CFL has a young kick returner. His name is Trey Valval. He takes a kickoff back 93 yards for a touchdown for Winnipeg Blue Bombers, getting saluted on the sidelines. I can't salute with you guys. I got to go back on the field. Takes a punt back 97 yards for a touchdown. Wow. All-time record in the Canadian Football League for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So interesting week around the National Football League. Those are some of your hot headlines. We can go out to your garage and check the back of your SUV, make sure you don't have 5 firearms in it. What is Denzel Perryman thinking? Now, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's never been in trouble before. Hopefully he's licensed, but walking around with AR-15s in your vehicle, that's dangerous territory, is it not? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I want to talk about Rashee Rice. I mean, I really want to believe him that he's a new man, right? And obviously he's young, he's maturing, he's going through a crisis right now. He's trying to step up and do the right thing to help the people because he knows he made a mistake. It'd be really a great story if he does turn it around and becomes a new man.
But there should be consequences for decisions, correct?
Well, hasn't he already had a hand? Does he have any sort of a penalty legally for this? He must.
No, yeah. What was 8 felonies has been reduced to a 30-day jail sentence. What kind of jail sentence is that for injuring all these people in a drag racing event that you triggered?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a pretty light suspension, but he's going to comply with the law. Yeah, probably some kind of a disciplinary action from the NFL, from the Chiefs makes sense. The other one is Travis Hunter, man. I just can't wait for the NFL season to start. I want to see this kid, and I hope he has great success playing both ways. I mean, that would be awesome, and it'd be a big shout out to Coach Prime, to see one of his guys doing really well.
Okay, that's all things from the NFL Notebook. You got an opinion on the Hall of Fame ceremonies? You got an opinion on the hot headlines there from the Notebook? Jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open, but we are not done discussing the National Football League. One other topic on the table here, John.
Yeah, the FBI. A little bit of news there in New York City.
The longer this goes day by day, the more information that is coming out here on Sean Tamura. He's the gunman that walked into 945 Park Avenue. He's the one that walked in firing an MR-15 or MR-4, and he's the one that had AR-15s with him. He's the one that killed himself. He's the one that killed 4 people. He's the one that got on the wrong elevator, went up to floor 33, thought it was the NFL league office, was not, killed the person there. He was the one that got back in the elevator, then went down a stairwell and then killed himself. As the FBI has done the investigation, they found all kinds of history. This kid's from Orange County. Played high school football, was a really good football player, had injuries, never went to college. He told people he played in the National Football League. He did not. But he had head injuries. He had chronic migraine headaches. He was in hospitals, received nerve block injections in his neck for the migraine headaches. He had an MRI on his neck. He had mental health issues to the point he was hospitalized in institutions twice. He had workplace issues at the Las Vegas casinos, anger management, if you will. Police and the FBI report said he fired 27 shots in the lobby when he killed 3 of the people. He fired more than 50 shots total, including killing a person on the 33rd floor. He got off the elevator in the 33rd floor, and the 2 offices were all glass enclosed. He could not get in those offices. He thought it was the NFL league office. He fired a whole series of rounds, broke all the doors in the glass, and then reached in and walked into one of the offices and popped the first person he saw. He had a .357 Magnum. He had 800 rounds of ammunition on himself as he walked into that building. They had 500 more rounds and AR-15s in his car that they recovered, plus the 2 suicide notes, one on his person, the other at his home. And his home looked like a gun factory. I mean, so at the end of the day, this was terrible. This could have been catastrophic. Had he gotten into the front office of the league office, where all those offices are and all those employees are, I mean, the death toll could have been unbelievable. And at the end of the day, anybody can buy a gun, according to the rationale of people who support the NRA. I have a right to bear arms, even if you've got mental problems. And this guy's mental health problems were unbelievable and deep. And yet he had all this weaponry when he went into Park Avenue. The more and more the FBI has dug, the deeper and deeper the sadness of the story is about troubled person and the catastrophe that actually could have occurred had he gotten into the NFL league office. I don't know if you saw the interview with Roger Goodell on the Thursday Night Football talking about the incident. His face was ashen white. He was so rattled and so shaken. So, John, that's a tragic story. And as we progressed from last week into this week, there's more and more details. But that's pretty scary to have that armament on that guy walking into that public building.
You know, there's no reasoning with a guy that is that whacked out, right? But it's just the thing I always think about is like, I get how you're down on your life and your circumstances. I even get how you might be a gun enthusiast and all that. But why take out innocent people? I mean, I get, do suicide, write your note, man. You need to check out, go for it. But innocent people don't deserve to die because of his situation. So it's like this blaze of glory that some people want to go out in. And it to me is whack.
It's just shocking and stunning. And I know we will get response from people who are pro NRA people. That's okay. He had a right to bear arms. I'm not so sure that that's the way society should operate these days.
People in the chat on actually the responses in the YouTube channel, people are like, oh, there goes Hacksaw talking about politics again.
Okay, here's the question. On the right-hand side, you NRA advocates, you MAGA people, you have a right to be on this podcast and Fans Forum. But from the far left, have anybody that sides with me, sides with him, thinks the way we do about guns, danger, mental health? Bad combination. So feel free. Fans Forum chat box is for them. Fans Forum chat box is for you. Jump on board. We'll play point counterpoint during the course of this argument. Okay, those are hot topics on the table. We are not done. We are at halftime. This is our Monday bonus podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. It is blazing hot outside. It was 96 degrees outside where today I told John, don't do your segment of the show from out left field where it's going to be hot. Come on inside. Blazing hot, and you can solve that with doors and windows if you're thinking renovation, or if you're building something new, state-of-the-art. I want you to think about Dixieline Lumber. John, talk about who they are, what they've done, because they put doors and windows here in your castle.
Yeah, I mean, just great guys, I mean, women and men there that have been they've been to San Diego for over 100 years. I mean, there are very few companies that can say that, so they're established. They're trusted here in San Diego. That's why a lot of people go buy doors and windows from someone like Dixieline, because there's a whole lot of companies out there that sell doors and windows, some more established than others. But that if for some reason something went a little bit sideways in the installation, Dixieline's going to be there to back it and take care of you all the way through the process. So Dixieline is your go-to place, certainly lumber, building materials. If you're looking for doors, windows, kitchen and bathroom models, outdoor decking, power tools, lighting, I mean, they've got it all there. It's like a toy store for homeowners and contractors.
You check the boxes, Dixieline Lumber. Just go to Dixieline.com and see what they've got to offer. We are at halftime. This Monday bonus podcast is brought to you by Dixieline Lumber. Couple of reminders. We do sports talk the way it should be done. When we're done with the hot topics on the table, and I think we hit a few hot buttons already, you join us. The Fans Forum chat box is open for everybody who's new on the live stream. John, how do they get involved once we're done with the hot topics?
Well, you know what? By the way, I'm seeing a lot of first-time names on there. I'm seeing is that Dara, and I'm seeing Paul Peacock on there. Some new names on there, which is great to see. So we're already getting some people rolling in talking about the gun control. We're getting people talking about Aztecs, people talking about Denzel Perryman and everything that he's going through. Antonio Gates, all kinds of comments here. Even the Dan Cilio show has responded today.
So Fans Forum chat box open for business. Feel free to jump on board when we're done. You like sports? Check my website. It's all written. It's there first thing every morning. LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Want you to join me on social media, become part of my Twitter all-star team. Just go to Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, hit the follow button on X on social media, share, subscribe, tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. When you subscribe, you will get on the email list. You'll get alerts every time we put additional things up, and we probably put 5 to 10 things every week up on the YouTube channel in addition to the main podcast. So we're in the air everywhere. Want you to be part of our team. Okay, let's go to the second half because we're going from all things football, we're going to baseball. And we've got a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Padres, and they got to show off their shiny new toys.
A lot of reaction from a lot of different people, some positive, some negative as it relates. I talked to a lot of different people in and around baseball. The Padres are in a pennant race. The Padres are going hunting to slay the dragon this year. I'm going to say something that's going to bother a few people. I think the Padres might have a better team at this hour than the Dodgers.
Oh.
I think the Dodgers obviously have the biggest payroll, but I think the Padres have more players. I think the Padres have a better lineup. I think the Padres have a definitely blue chip bullpen. I think the Dodgers situation, they're begging and hoping that their pitching staff can hold up. And the Dodgers, I just don't think, have got a complete batting order right now, and they got some age and they got some injury along the way. So everybody's got about 50 games to play. And the Padres are only 3 games out of first place. I always tell you what I think. I don't cheerlead for anybody. I think the Padres are a better team right now than the Los Angeles Dodgers are. Stunning. Now, in terms of the Padres, AJ Preller indicated all the deals that he made, 5 trades in 7 hours. Think about that. 5 trades in 7 hours. He dealt away 14 players. He made what he called impact trades to fill the rest of the holes on the Padres roster. And I think he solved all that. In terms of the reality, Padre fan, enjoy today as you chase down the Dodgers. Enjoy today because there's probably not going to be any tomorrow. Now, I had an executive that worked with Preller for a chunk of time who came back to me on stuff I've said and indicated, you always talk about currency. Well, the Dodgers have currency. It's called, so you call it Dodger dollars. The Dodgers have currency. The Padres have currency. Their currency is their farm system. I understand that. Preller's traded the farm system away 4 times in 11 years. Have they been to a World Series yet? No. Have they won a division title yet? No. But they might right now because I think it's collectively a better packaged team than up in Los Angeles. However, he keeps buying on the credit card. He keeps using his currency, the entire farm system. That's like a credit card purchase. And one day you wake up and all the cornerstone veteran players you have, the Machados and the Tatises and the Darvishes and these guys, they're really aged and you're stuck with what's of their contract and you don't have anybody to replace them because you traded the farm system where you spent all your currency. So it's like AJ keeps using his credit card. That being said, I think they're better right now than the Dodgers are. Michael King, let's be patient. He got banged around at El Paso, went 3 1/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, 4 hits, couple of walks, 2 home runs, clocked at only about 91 miles an hour. Let's just be patient. Let's see what 3 or 4 starts or simulated games are going to bring him front and center. We saw a tremendous last start from Yu Darvish. Dylan Cease was really dominant, but that was against an anemic St. Louis Cardinal team. So we'll see what the Padres do going forward. Interesting story just broke today that before A.J. Preller made the Oakland Athletics deal to get the relief ace and the starting pitcher, he thought he had a deal with Washington, and the deal fell apart. He thought he had Mackenzie Gore.
Really?
And the deal collapsed right at the bitter end. So he turned around and said, thank you for the phone call. We'll go back to Oakland, and they wound up making that deal, and then he made the Baltimore Orioles transaction. So that's where the Padres are. A Preller advocate told me he's got currency. His currency is the farm system. The Dodger currency is Dodger dollars. In terms of the Dodgers, man, they're taking a lot of heat in Los Angeles that they did not do anything of significance to kind of fix the skid that they're on. They're kind of sub 500 for a chunk of time. Their theory was our stars are going to rally this team back. Well, I'm not sure that I buy that wholeheartedly because Max Muncy is still on the disabled list. He's coming back. But what's he going to be like coming back? He had a lousy first third of the season. Mookie Betts just went 0 for 16. Did you ever think we'd be talking about Mookie Betts having a 233 batting average? But that's what the Dodger star shortstop is right now. Blake Snell, he got dinged a little bit in Tampa, but benefit of the doubt, he was dominant, but he got beat on what we call 2 Chinese home runs.
Chinese?
It's an old phrase that goes back to the old Polo Grounds where the New York Giants used to play. The old Polo Grounds foul lines were really close to home plate. Well, he got beat by, they used to call home runs that would go down the foul lines at Polo Grounds in New York, Chinese home runs. He got beat by 2 Chinese home runs in Tampa.
Yeah.
One went 310 feet, the other one 314. Any other ballpark, the other 29 ballparks, ball would have been caught.
They probably don't even get to the warning track.
Exactly. So Blake Snell was really dominant. I mean, he was throwing really well. So even though he got tagged and the line score kind of looked shabby, as people saying, oh, typical bleeping Blake Snell. First start got lit. Well, he didn't really get lit. He got beat by 2 Chinese home runs. So it's going to be really interesting. Next start for Ohtani, they're hoping he's going to go 5 innings. Found out they had a one-on-one sit-down with Dustin May. They asked Dustin May to go to the bullpen for the rest of the season with all these guys coming back off the disabled list. Dustin May said no. He didn't ask for a trade, but he said, I think my future is a starter. I want to stay in the rotation. Dodgers said no. They traded him to the Boston Red Sox. So that's all things Dodger baseball. They put their trust in the Freddie Freemans and the Ohtanis and to a degree Mookie Betts. And they say the veterans are going to rally us back. I don't think so. Angels don't understand this terminology. Perry Manazian getting a lot of flack in Anaheim because they really didn't do anything except pick up 2 fringe relief pitchers who've been on waivers a whole pile of times in their career. But Perry Manazian said, we decided to keep this group together. Your group is struggling to stay at the 500 mark. Now, I grant you 500 is better than 99 losses last season. But at the end of the day, they evidently had overtures from people that were interested in Kenley Jansen, interested in Tyler Anderson, and elected not to do it. They'll just stay in the course with what they got, and they'll just see. They don't have anywhere near enough. But if they finish 81-81, it's a hell of a lot better than 99 losses last season. By the way, they released Kevin Newman, the shortstop, and they released Lamont Wade, whose career, the ex-Giant, has really tumbled off. Wade was hitting 169. He's had 3 bad years in a row. Just stopped hitting. And Newman, who's a career journeyman, hitting 202. Both those guys got let go. So, Padres impact players, Dodgers stars are going to save us. Angels, keep this core together. And I got the Padres being better than the Dodgers in the final 50 games of the season. And John Riley says,
that's a pretty bold statement, to say on paper the Padres are better than the Dodgers. I mean, Dodger fan is going to come barking, what the hell? There's no way. Because their whole line up in Chavez Ravine is, hey, man, our guys have been hurt all year, and we're still in first place by 3 games. So there's the Padres don't have a chance to catch us. That's what they all think. I'll tell you what, though, you talk about how Preller has traded away the farm system 4 times
in 11 years.
I remember you used to say twice, then you used to say 2.5, then 3 times. But I saw someone write online, and it was a better analogy because you usually think of your farm, people under development. But they got to think of farms. What they do every year is they harvest a crop.
Yep.
Okay. And
that's his currency.
Yeah, exactly. So he essentially drafts all these seedlings and gets these free agent seeds, plants them, got good player development guys. They grow and they harvest a crop. And then, you take all the crop, you maximize it at the marketplace, and then you start over again.
But the credit card, and that's what he's doing, credit card bill always comes due. And one of these days, we're going to wake up, and they're going to have a much older Machado. They're going to have a much older Yu Darvish. You're going to have, obviously, age with their eyes. These guys are going to hit the other side of 35 into 40. And you're stuck with the rest of those contracts. And now you have no farm system at all because you kept spending the credit card money.
No, but they're going to draft more guys, and they still got some okay talent in there. I mean, it's not the premier, minor league system that it used to be. But don't doubt AJ Preller. I mean, trust in AJ, rockstar GM. He's going to find new guys. I'm confident of it. And I love the way he's assembled this roster. I mean, I'm really liking this Ramon Laureano guy. Yep. Just seems like a dude, and he's not like a big muscular guy, but he knows how to play ball. I just like everything about him. I'm still learning about this Ryan O'Hearn kid. It was great seeing Mason Miller. Interesting to hear the comments in the clubhouse from guys like Jackson Merrill. They couldn't believe how big Mason Miller was. Huge guy. So, that's the Padres. I'm excited as a fan.
Okay, so you have no problem from Trey Turner to Leonardo DeVries, and every prospect he's ever had, he's gotten rid of. And last I checked, You and I have not gone to see a World Series game yet at Petco Park.
Well, the Padres have been really competitive the last 5 years. They've
Been great.
Yeah. And so it's been a great ride. It's just taken us a while to build on this. But we've had this in the past where we might have one star prospect for a while. Maybe it was Andy Bennis for a while, or there's a couple other names we could come up with.
Yeah, the Chase Headleys of the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's another good one.
Now you got a mass of young guys. I swear to you, John, we'll do this one day. I'll go through a laundry list and we'll flash it up on the board of every major leaguer he's traded away. It is stunning.
Well, because he's made so many deals. I mean, you just said he moved 14 players in 3 hours or something?
7 hours.
In 7 hours?
5 trades in 7 hours.
Yeah, the other name on that list is Tim Stauffer. That was another kind of high draft pick. We all had all these bright hopes. Even remember Sean Burrows even, But back then we only had like one dude,
That's right.
And then everyone else was like way lower level, lower quality players. Now, man, we've got a lot of currency. And we might move a top dog prospect like DeVries, but we're going to have a lot of mid-tier guys that we can grow. So I'm confident.
Okay. So you disagree with my statement as we sit here at lunchtime on Bonus Monday, Padres have a better roster than the Dodgers. You don't buy that.
That, like I said, that's a bold call. It's hard to say that the Padres have a better roster than the Dodgers when the Dodgers won the World Series. The Dodgers have Ohtani. The Dodgers have, make the giant list of all these big time contract guys. Granted, some of them are having down years like Mookie. I don't think you can quite say that. Now, the Padres certainly are scrappy, lovable Padres, have an opportunity to beat them, to slay the dragon. But I can't imagine Padre players thinking, oh yeah, we're better than these guys.
We got to prove it on the field.
Yeah.
But I think on paper right now, damn impressive Padre roster.
Oh yeah, it looks really good. And look at that. You have Cronenworth batting eighth, and now he's hitting bombs. He's getting a lot more pitches this season.
Come on, let's not.
But we've only had these new players for 2 or 3 games. So when you have a guy like Cronenworth batting eighth, that's a good batter. It's a hell of a lot better than having Martin Maldonado hitting in that spot.
So now you're agreeing with me. Padres have a better roster.
The Padres roster is better than it was.
But it's not better than the Dodgers.
But it's not better than the Dodgers, although it's getting close. It's very close.
Baseball fan, I want you to throw a high, hard one. You can either hit me or hit him. Fans Forum chat box is open. Your response, Padres, Dodgers. God, this thing's going to blow up. We're going to ruin your computer. You're going to get so many people. They're going to agree with me or argue on your behalf. So join us. Fans Forum chat box is open. Talk Padres, Dodgers, and Los Angeles Rams. Hey, I got a couple other side notes here before we move on to another topic here. I don't know if you had the chance to pay attention to a bunch of other things. Let's talk about what happened in Bristol, Tennessee.
Oh, that was really interesting.
That was really bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, the way they set up that field. I mean, what's your take on this?
Okay, so this was the Speedway Classic, Cincinnati Reds, Atlanta Braves. We talked about it on Thursday, and I was really amped to watch it on Saturday. So here we get to 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. I shove everything off my table. I'm going to kick back with a Mountain Dew, and I'll watch this. Well, they go to a live shot. And I had seen pictures of the stadium, or of the Speedway, and how they had laid it out for baseball. I said, this is pretty cool. And they had sold 86,000 tickets. I get there, and there's tarp on the stadium. I said, no, it's raining. And I went and checked up on the Weather Channel. Yeah, there's rain in Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia, which it's a city that's split by the state line. And the Speedway is in Bristol, Tennessee. I said, oh, shoot. So I sat there. And I know Kevin Burkhardt, who's the lead anchor of the pregame show for Fox. And I sat there. And then I sat there. And I sat there for 2 hours. Yeah. And it drove me crazy, because you got Big Papi and you got A-Rod, A-Fraud, Alex Rodriguez, and you got Burkhardt, and they're talking back and forth.
And Jeter, too.
And Jeter. And they're running produced pieces. And I said, they're never going to get this game in. So I wandered away, did something else, tuned back in, and finally, after 2 hours of listening to those guys talk, they were in the first inning. I said, okay, I'll kick back here. Now, it's really late there. It was after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Tennessee time. Kick back, and they get into the first inning, and it starts to rain again. And then it rained buckets. And they finally suspended the game in the bottom of the first inning. Anyhow, they came back and played it yesterday. the fans, everybody had rain checks. More people showed up. They sold, get this, John, they sold 91,000 tickets for the game to watch it. They had 91,103, I think was the final attendance stat for the game on Sunday that had started Saturday night after the rain delay. So it was a great event. Now immediately when the game was over, and they showed video, the Braves and Reds players were going to their buses to catch their flights to move on to the next series. They had all the cranes in there tearing up the turf. They have to rebuild all the safety walls around that portion of the track because they knocked the walls down to put the stands in. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting. It went very well. Now, that's not the only storyline. Coors Field, Colorado. Yeah. We've seen a lot of baseball on TV from Coors.
Yeah.
I went to one game there. What an experience. Thin air, humidors, the whole 9 yards.
It's a nice experience, though. I'll say that.
Exactly. Now you add into it what a really wretched Colorado Rockies team we have. So the Rockies are playing the Pittsburgh Pirates on the weekend. Pittsburgh scores 9 runs in the top of the first. 9.
Wow.
9-0. Game goes on. I checked the scoreboard later. They're in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Rockies win the game, 17-16.
It's a football score.
No, it's Coors Canaveral. So 40 hits in the ball game, 14 bases on balls. That freaking thing went on forever and ever. Colorado 17, Pittsburgh Pirates 16. So those are interesting sidebar notes in addition to just the Speedway Classic.
Yeah, I mean, I was cool with, like you say, the way they set up that field. It would have been great to see that. I mean, you can't blame the organizers of this. It's Mother Nature.
Sure.
But it just set up so nicely. And they had the whole NASCAR theme was baked into the broadcast. Like the way they announced their starting lineup, it looked like, the leaderboard for a NASCAR race. And the guys had like NASCAR numbers on their jersey.
And NASCAR hats.
Yeah. Like the Reds had the checkerboard. And I think
had the fire.
The fire for the Braves. Yeah. And then a lot of these other players, were like NASCAR guys, they grew up in the South where it was a big part of the culture. So it's set up to be a great event. But the whole time I kept thinking is I bet you they're trying to do whatever they can to make this an official game, because at some point, don't they have to refund 92,000 people? And
well, they rain checked them. I'd forgotten that neither team was scheduled to play on Sunday. So they played it on Sunday, and then those guys went and got on their charter flights and
off
flew
they
to
go.
The next series. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a really cool setup. I hope they do more of those sorts of things.
Yeah, concur. Okay, that's all things baseball. Feel free. Fans Forum chat box is open. You can throw a high hard one at me or plunk him if you want. We go from that. News and notes quickly. NBA.
Yeah, Luka signed a big deal.
Luka's got more money than God. Luka Doncic signs his 3-year extension. Now, he turned down, he could have had a 4-year extension. He left $65 million on the table. He signs a 3-year, $165 million extension that'll kick in next season. But by taking only 3 years, it allows him to become a true free agent in 2028, and it allows him to get a supermax contract in 2028. He also showed up at the press conference. He's down 21 pounds.
Good for him.
He looks really different. And he says, he's joking with the media. He says, I guarantee you, I'm going to be sleek and slick.
Nice.
So he looks different. It's really interesting, though. Everybody showed up with the exception of LeBron for the press conference. LeBron did not show up. I think there 14 other Laker players were there.
Yeah.
From other guys to the fringe guys. But Luka had a really interesting statement. He was asked, why did you do this now when you could have been a free agent at the end of the coming season? He said, look up here, 17 banners. Look up here, retired uniforms. Look up here, I want my name on a uniform up there with another banner. So the Laker mystique has convinced him this is the place to be. I was kind of disappointed that LeBron was not there when everybody else on that Laker roster was.
Yeah, I love seeing teammates there when their buddy signs a big deal. It's my boys out there to support me. I want to get a look at Luka. I mean, especially in the uniform. He's supposed to be chiseled.
Yep.
I mean, that's a big move, a big swing from where he was at the end of the year. So let's see what happens.
Well, he did 21 days in Croatia, just pushing the envelope, diet-wise, strength-wise, weight-wise.
Good for him.
So I think the message got to him at the end of the season. He's got to change his ways. I think stung really badly by the criticism back in Dallas that he was out of shape all the time and he would not control his diet, and dude smokes. I think
smokes, really?
Yeah.
How can you smoke and be a professional basketball player? That's unbelievable.
So anyhow, that's a storyline involving the Lakers. You tell us on the Laker line. Chat box is open. Fans forum. Should LeBron have been there? I mean, these two guys. We're not going to have a soap opera here. I'm not going to tolerate LeBron's happy, LeBron's not happy. Love me not. I'm not going to tolerate any of that from LeBron James. Great career. Got one final chance to go get a ring with Luka and Austin Reeves, and know what you did in the offseason. We go from hoops to hockey.
Hockey hotline. We got little Flyers and Ducks.
Interesting story. We brought this up maybe a month and a half ago. The NCAA changed the rule, John, where kids who had played in the Canadian junior ranks, Ontario Hockey League, Quebec League, Western Hockey League, that's the developmental form system for all the draft picks, that kids that played in Canada were not allowed to come play college hockey because, quote, they were pros. Everybody who plays in junior hockey gets a cost of living stipend to play for the London Knights or the Medicine Hat Tigers or whomever. Well, they changed the rule this year. This is the first year Canadian junior players could come across the border if they academically qualify and enroll and play in college hockey. Well, the first one was a kid by the name of Gavin McKenna, Medicine Hat, Alberta. Medicine Hat Tigers, really good player. Might be the next Sidney Crosby. He decided a month ago to bypass junior hockey, and McKenna has gone to Penn State. Big story there. Then early last week, the number one pick of the Flyers, his name's Porter Martone, out of Brampton, Ontario, in the Ontario Hockey League, scored 46 goals, I think it was. Number one pick. He's decided not to go back to junior. He's going to sign, and he just signed to play at Michigan State. And then Ducks number one pick, Roger Queen, big burly center. He's from Western Canada. Brandon Wheat Kings. Now, he was hurt a lot last year, but he was the 10th player taken. Instead of going back, he's just announced he's going to Providence College. So the top three players coming out of junior hockey are not going back to where they were. They're coming to play in the NCAAs. Now, it might be for only 1 year. So the landscape is obviously changing in college hockey. NIL money is coming to play to get these guys to come across the border, and the NCAA changed the rule. Really interesting story.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if the NIL was behind all this, but the other part that I'm wondering about is if you take like the top hockey colleges or universities in America, is that level of hockey better or lesser than those Canadian junior leagues?
That's a real valid question. The difference is the Canadian Junior League, they play 60 to 70 games, and the travel is rugged. I mean, you're indoctrinated. You're still going to high school.
High school?
Yeah, these are high school kids because you're playing junior hockey at age 16, 17, 18, 19. But the travel's just brutal. In college hockey, for the most part, you play Friday and Saturday nights. And you travel kind of first class. You stay in nice hotels. You're not riding a damn bus. And that's what they do in junior hockey. I mean, lifestyle is really rugged. So there's a big difference. College hockey is more refined. I think there's more teaching in college hockey because you're only playing 2 or 3 games a week, where in junior hockey, you could be playing 4 out of 7 days, and you're hopping on buses in between. Your practice time is really limited. That's a really good question.
Now, Penn State, by the way, I don't think of them as a college hockey powerhouse.
In the last 5 years.
Oh, they're very recent. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And Arizona State has started a hockey program. It's had a lot of success, and they're getting kids, too, from junior hockey.
I remember that when they opened up that program a few years back. And,
about 3 years into it.
Yeah, Arizona State and hockey, you don't put those two together usually.
So anyhow, Hockey Hotline, that's your item there. Last topic on the table. Big weekend of auto racing. Wow.
Yeah, big weekend on the high-speed sports wire. Here we go.
Hungarian Grand Prix. My goodness. Bad weather. Fast and full of anger. These drivers had so many problems, it just would not go away. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastris, teammates, Team McLaren. They just keep darting and dashing around each other. They're at the front of the pack. They qualify to start on the pole or start in the front row. and then they do all this dangerous stuff on the track. A couple times they've wrecked each other. This time they've not. Lando Norris won again at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Pasteris finished second. The bigger storyline is what happened behind him. Max Verstappen, just this drama with him and Red Bull, just it goes on and on and on. He spent half the race screeching at his pit crew. This car is impossible to drive. He didn't qualify really well. He wound up finishing ninth. Just he was so angry getting out of the car. And Sir Lewis Hamilton just completely emotionally fell apart. He finished 12th. He had a lousy qualifying. And Lewis Hamilton, he told the media afterwards, he said, I'm useless. I said, I can't race for this team. I can't race in this car. He's upset because his teammate, Charles Leclerc, who also runs for Ferrari, he's starting up front on poles in some of these races and has won some races. And Lewis Hamilton's car, which is supposed to be identical to Leclerc's, they can't get it dialed in. And Lewis Hamilton's, he's just having a miserable time. He told the media they should just go find another driver. It's like he's emotionally given up. He just caved in. And this was a legendary driver with Team Mercedes for all these years. And at the end with Mercedes, they didn't win because they weren't competitive. And now he went to Ferrari and everybody thought this was going to be phenomenal for the guy wearing red. He's just been a bloody disaster. I think I had written down his qualifying, his last three races, he qualified 12th, 16th, and 18th. This is Sir Lewis Hamilton's got 100 career wins. He's qualifying 12th, 16th, and 18th.
Amazing.
So anyhow, that's the latest in auto racing.
What's interesting about F1 races, and I saw this in the Hungarian Grand Prix, is after the race is over, the top three guys go into this little room. You've seen that?
Yeah.
And they're like, they take off their gear, and first of all, it's shocking how young these guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, some of them barely shave. I mean, they're so young. And it's an interesting dynamic because you figure if the top three racers are in a room together, it's such competitive guys, and someone might have cut off someone, but they're calm and they're cool and they're sort of watching the highlights.
They're not NASCAR drivers.
Yeah, it is a whole different breed. But it just seemed like it was also an opportunity to showcase the sponsors, because they've got all the logos on their gear, and then you've got the there's corporate logos in that little room. It's just a weird dynamic. And by the way, I think Verstappen was in the top three in that race, wasn't he?
No, he didn't finish on the podium.
Okay, he didn't. All right, my mistake. But no. I think that's a cool dynamic.
And you mentioned youth. Piastri is 19.
19.
I think he's from Argentina. He showed up towards the end of last season. He got progressively better and better, and he has just been front of the grid virtually every Sunday. And his teammate is really good too, Lando Norris.
That's incredible. I mean, you have to be a really mature kid to be able to do that.
Hey, if you're a F1 fan, jump on board. We talk auto racing on this podcast too. Hey, it's time for you to join us. Fans Forum chat box is now open for business. This podcast on Mondays and Thursdays brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. You got projects, they got materials. You want ideas, they can be your best friend and consultant. Dixieline Lumber, 9 locations in San Diego to serve you. They've been in business for over 100 years. Thinking projects, think Dixieline Lumber. We got a few thousand people here that want to join us in Fans Forum.
Yeah, if it's either Padres or Dodgers or talking about guns. All right, let's talk Padre Dodger here with Emmanuel. He says, "Hey Lee, for argument's sake, I'll give you that the Padres are a slightly better team on paper, but in previous seasons, the Padres lack a true leader or captain, so the Padres will not overtake the Dodgers."
At the end of the day, you could say, the Dodgers have got personality. The Dodgers have obviously got great raw talent. Dodgers have had the better payroll, but this just seems to have a different feel to it. The Dodgers just don't have a complete team right now. Their bullpen is really bull crap. And, the Dodgers starting pitching has still got some issues here. Now, you could argue back, well, Blake Snell's here. Well, let's see if Blake Snell will string together a group of vintage quality Blake Snell second half of the season starts. And, the Padres bullpen is just knockout. It used to be the 4 horsemen. Now I guess you can call them the Fab Five, or maybe we start calling them the 6-pack. It's going to be great. Is it August 15th yet? Do you know the Padres and Dodgers play each other 6 times starting August 15th.
Yeah, and there's plus a lot of Giants games mixed in there too.
Yeah, but the Giants season, that's a white flag that's waving.
Yeah,
from San
it
Francisco.
is. Yeah, it is.
So he obviously agrees with me. The Padres have made great improvement, but he's flashing history. Emmanuel, I understand your history. Dodgers 11 division championships in 12 years. Padres have not been to a World Series yet. I keep telling my co-host that as the co-host waves his
Just rubbing it in.
his Padre pennant. So it's going to be fun. But I said what I said. I believe the Padres right now are collectively a more complete, better team than the Dodgers are right now. Dodgers are looking for a hot streak. Only time will tell.
The Padres have leadership. I mean, let's be real. I mean, the obvious one in the elephant in the room is Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is a lot of crap from Dodger fans online. They're saying, "Oh, you've got Machado. There's no way that guy's a leader or he's going to lead his team to a World Series. He's a cancer in the clubhouse." And I say that's a bunch of BS because you've seen multiple times where Manny will get the boys together in the dugout and they'll huddle and they'll talk it out, And then you got Musgrove, who's a hell of a leader on that team. I mean, and even in a quiet way, guys like Xander Bogaerts, even Jake Cronenworth. I think they've got quality guys on that team. It's not going to be like a cheerleading Mookie Betts leader. It's a different vibe.
Their lineup is pretty collectively good now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Emmanuel, thanks for joining us. We'll see where this goes. Next one.
Okay, this is a two-parter, okay, but we'll get both of them in here. This is from one Mr. Smith. He goes, Hacksaw, AR-15 is owned more than any other gun in the country. This arrest is going to be dropped. Don't judge Perriman so quickly.
What did I say? I'm giving him reason of doubt because he was on his way to a gun range. Only concern I would have would be if a whole bunch of these weapons were unregistered. That's a felony. That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously gun laws in California, and I don't know the circumstances of this case, but this is the second part that I thought was a shot across the bow. He says, "Hey, why don't you ask Perriman in to discuss the whole topic? I don't think you have the guts."
You don't have access to Perriman, and he's not talking to the media right now. And what did I say at the top of this topic? I'm giving him benefit of the doubt because he's been a good player, good person, I think, good leader. But at the end of the day, in this society with guns and the bad reputation AR-15s have, and you're driving around with 5 guns in your trunk, including 2 AR-15s, that's a bad look. We'll see if they were registered. And like I say, hopefully it's much ado about nothing. But if they're not, then it's a bad decision by him. But I got to cover the topic. I'm going to tell you what I think about the topic because that's who we are.
It's just interesting how, we're all different people, right? And we all have different ways of looking at life. And, for someone like you or I, some guy driving around with 5 AR-15s in his trunk or whatever the number of weapons it is, that just seems really strange, right? It just seems really odd. But for other people, that's not a big deal. It's like, he might have been on his way to the shooting range or he was going to go hunting for deer or I don't know what the heck he was going to do with it. But for some people, that's a totally normal thing. And they believe that, well, first of all, why was he even pulled over? Was he speeding or something?
There was something, it might have had something to do with a tag on a license plate.
Oh, geez. I mean, yeah. So that's bad luck by him.
Yeah.
But, hopefully, he's compliant with the law, has them registered and everything's okay.
Benefit of the doubt. I'm giving Perriman benefit of the doubt. We'll see where the story goes in the next calendar week or so. Mr. Smith, thank you for joining. I hope you accept our explanation. Next one.
Okay, go to Greg. He goes, "Hey, Lee, there was an article in the LA Times a few weeks ago stating that Kershaw is the all-time best Dodger pitcher. I say it's Koufax. What do you think?"
Well, Koufax was there for 9 years. I mean, Koufax had an arthritic elbow, and he walked away from baseball at a fairly young age. Well, Kershaw's been there 16. Now, Kershaw is a more complete pitcher. Koufax was just a blazing fastball guy who threw no-hitters along the way. I don't have an argument. Either one could be the elite pitcher of all time, or maybe they're equal of all time. But the fact that Kershaw has done it for so many more years than anybody else, that his accolades and you look at his statistics, his career 1-loss ERA record, that's pretty damn impressive. So Greg, I'm not going to argue because I think they were both great. But we've seen a lot more Kershaw than we did for Sandy Koufax.
Well, they did Koufax 9 years with the Dodgers, but only like 5 of those years was he really good, right?
Well, he was a young high school kid out of Cincinnati, and Brooklyn Dodgers signed him, and he had no control. he could bring it, but it took him forever to become an established major leaguer. But over those 5 or 6 years, that chunk of time, wow.
Like, who else is on the Mount Rushmore of Dodger pitchers? It got to be Fernando.
Sure.
And then
Oral.
And then you got Oral Hershiser, maybe Don Drysdale.
Yep. So there's only 4 faces on that.
Exactly.
Rushmore.
So, for me, my favorite of all of them was Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a cultural thing that was way beyond the scope of what baseball is. But if you're to look at just the data, it's got to be Kershaw.
Yeah. We could argue forever and ever. You'd be buying a bunch of beers as we argued about that. Because, then we got to include Don Newcomb.
Yeah.
Because he changed the game.
Well, he was the guy that threw the perfect game, right? In the World Series?
No, that was Don Larson.
Don Larson.
Yankees. This is Brooklyn Dodger, Don Newcomb. But he was a great pitcher, helping break the baseball color barrier post Jackie Robinson. So, the Dodgers have had so many great, great players. But Kershaw, Koufax, I'll take them both.
Yeah, the other one I remember from my childhood was Don Sutton.
Yep.
That guy was steady Eddie, and man, he'd get like 14 to 16 wins every year.
Forever.
Yeah.
Concur. Okay, move on. Thanks, Greg.
Okay, let's move on, and we'll go here to let's go here to Paul. And he says, hey, Paul, new first timer here. Hey, will Aztec Fast actually happen this coming season?
Jury is really out. Nobody knows. There's so many new pieces. I talked to an Aztec alum who doesn't go there anymore. And he was one of those, quote, Aztecs for life. And he said, just the program has drastically slipped. The prices are ridiculous. I'm not excited about going to the, quote, new look Pac-12s. He checked off all the boxes of things that I've said, but let's give Sean Lewis a chance. The one thing that he needs, that coach needs, he needs continuity. There has to be a cessation of all the roster turnover. He had 49 new players last year, and he lost a bunch. He had to bring 55 new ones in this year. They're right back to hit the reset button. It's square one, clean piece of paper. But it's like a whole new team. Now, he does have a lot of his defense back, but he's got to change everything on the offense, and he's going to do it with 2 quarterbacks who've never gone to war. Jaden Denegal from Michigan, he spent 3 years. He never played at the U of M, hardly. And Bert Emanuel, Central Michigan, he played some part-time starter, but he's more runner than thrower. He's not a perfect fit to what they want to do with this Aztec Fast offense. But let's give Sean Lewis a second year and see if they can be better, because they caved in last year. They just offensively never got it together, and then their defense caved in the second half of the season. It was really abysmal. Sean kind of lectured me at the press conference last week. He said, well, we lost 3 games by 9 points. I said, I understand that, but you're also 3-9. There's a whole pile of games you could not move the football. So we'll give them this second year, and let's see. Hopefully it's not going to be 3-9 again.
Well, this whole Aztec Fast, offensive playbook, this is going to be, turbocharged offense. But it's this interesting how when a coach has a system and a scheme, but he doesn't have the players to match it.
Right.
Some coaches will just switch the scheme, to find a way to do it with the talent he has. But like you said, I don't really know enough about these players to know if they're going to be able to play Aztec Fast.
Well, he went out and recruited a pile of guys who can run. That's a component. All these wide receivers. A year ago this week, I thought this is going to be interesting because he's got a whole pile of guys who've come from other places where they threw the ball, they could run, but it never really happened. Then they had the freshman quarterback, Danny O'Neill, who was going through his own learning curve, and then the offensive line fell apart. Then the defense just faded so badly because they're on the field so much the second half of the year. So we never really got a look at Aztec Fast. It was just, let's hope we can at least get a first down and keep some drives going. It didn't happen. They averaged maybe 20 points a game. They didn't average 3 touchdowns a game, and that was supposed to be their calling card.
So quick Aztec history lesson. If we were to go back in time to the Don Coryell era, was he like this offensive innovator in the college system? And was he like the equivalent of Aztec Fast in the 70s?
Yeah, well before anybody else did it, because he was also a guy that recruited the junior college ranks. Everybody who came to San Diego State was a speed guy and came, for the most part, through the JC ranks. And he got quarterback after quarterback. He had 5 or 6 quarterbacks in a row that were really good. And a whole bunch of them wound up NFL draft picks. One went to the AFL, Dennis Shaw, who had maybe the greatest individual season from back in the day. And then Dennis Shaw's 1 year as a starter, he threw 39 touchdown passes at San Diego State.
Wow.
It was amazing. Now, modern day football, the two best quarterbacks of modern day Aztec football are Kevin O'Connell and Ryan Lindley, who played back to back. Between them, that was 6 years of combined starters. But program has slipped so badly. I've gone through so many quarterbacks. They've not been able to get a guy with the stature of Ryan Lindley, who's thrown for over 12,000 yards, or Kevin O'Connell, who I think had over 11,000 yards rushing and passing. They've never been able to get back to that level of productivity with a guy.
Where does Brian Sipe land in that stack ranking?
Well, he was a JC guy, and I think he started at State for 1 year or maybe a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I did a statistical check. I'm going to write a column on it on my website before the season actually starts. Sipe was part of that entourage with Dennis Shaw, Jesse Freitas, Mark Halda, all those guys that were recruited JC guys for Coryell, threw the hell out of the ball. But again, JC rules were different then, and you could get guys in. The academic rules have changed so drastically. It's a lot tougher now to get community college transfers in. But Coryell got him in early, and Coryell had speed kills.
Speed kills. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. All right. Let's go here to Gordon. He goes, hey, great show, Lee and John. This is why your show is bleakin' brilliant. Hey, isn't it bleepin' brilliant?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Hey, one question. Why isn't there an American driver in Formula One? Thanks, guys.
We're going to get one because Michael Andretti's attempt to move into Formula One was kind of blocked. But Cadillac has bought that team, and Cadillac will be there in 2026, and they're going to have a European driver with experience, and they're going to have a young American driver. But it's tough. These rides are so hard to get. I mean, there's only 11 teams. There's only, for the most part, 2 drivers per team, two cars per team. And most of them are taken up by great European drivers and great South American drivers. And the guys that have gone there from America just haven't done real well. Michael Andretti was there for a short period. Mario Andretti was there for a short period, and he left. And he came back stateside and obviously starred in the Indy series. So it's just really hard, and it's hard. You got to bring money. If you're coming, if you bring sponsorship money, maybe you get the chance to get a ride. But there's so many Euros who are really good. And the developmental series, the F2 series, the F3 series, the developmental series in South America, they make so many great drivers. So it's just tough for Americans to get a ride because there's only a few seats.
Now, explain this to me, because we're seeing IndyCar doing street racing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then NASCAR, of course, does street racing. But IndyCar street racing and F1 seem like really similar, right? I mean, I wonder why F1 and Indy don't just sort of become the same thing rather than making them separate.
Because what's the heritage of IndyCar racing? The old Brickyard.
Right.
500 ovals. Now, they started to dabble in street races, Watkins Glen Grand Prix, some of these other locales. But their heritage is Memorial Day in the Indy 500, and that's never going to change, and they don't want to tamper with that to change it.
What? Just imagine, if you will, if F1 raced on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I mean, what would that be like to have an F1 car on the big bank turns on an oval?
Yeah. I mean, the technology and the speed is those cars are so powerful.
And they're just so like nimble and quick, like one flip of a wrist and it's game over in a big oval.
So I've never heard anybody bring up that idea of F1 on an oval track, because F1's heritage is all the street courses, Monaco and all that.
Yeah, but on an oval track, we'd actually see F1 passing, which is kind of a rarity.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen, no.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Okay, let's keep on trucking here. We'll go to Steven. He says, hey, AJ traded more guys than ever, and the new guys will need to grow fast to have any value next year. AJ has guts, though.
Has no fear. I mean, that's his currency. My farm system is my currency, as one of his former guys told me when he said, we don't buy everything you're saying on your podcast. I said, okay, that's cool. So AJ's currency is the draft pick, and the Dodgers' currency is the Dodger dollars that they got to spend in their payroll. I mean, the Dodgers develop an awful lot of really good young players, and they keep most of them. They don't trade them away. AJ's traded them away forever. I promise you, when I have time, I will sit down and I will do a list of all the players that A.J. Preller's traded away and where they are right now, it will stagger you.
Well, how many World Series would it take for you to say, F them draft picks, that it was worth it? Even if there's like 30 players that he traded that are playing in Major League Baseball, let's just make up that number.
If we could get to a fall classic,
yeah,
and you and I could sit along the third base line at a World Series game in San Diego,
yeah,
okay, that convinced me.
Yeah, I think it should convince you, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think they're on a cusp of something interesting here.
Yes, and they got a short window to make it work.
Yeah, and the whole vibe of the team is it's different, but in a positive way, because we love guys like Tyler Wade and but
they're 206 hitters.
Exactly. Whenever they came up to bat, you're like, oh man, the 7, 8, and 9 is just killing us. So now we have hope.
Well, your co-host said they have a better team right now than the Dodgers have. We'll just see where that phrase goes.
Yeah, well, we could break it down position by position. I still think the Dodgers have the upper hand talent-wise. And Mookie's going to start hitting bombs in the playoffs because that's just the Dodger way and the Padres curse.
Mookie's hitting 233 and has shown no signs of coming out of this. That's a big issue. Steven, thanks for joining us. Next one.
Okay, let's go to John. He goes, hey, thank you, Antonio Gates, for the games, the victories, and memories you gave us. Foxtrot uniform to Dean Spanos for stealing all our memories.
Yeah, it took my heart out when they showed him before the introduction of Antonio Gates. But it was great. I mean, the minute Chris Berman started talking, Chris loves San Diego, and Chris started mentioning this weather. It's like San Diego Charger weather. I thought, oh, yeah. And then we talked about Gates and the Bolts, and the fans who were there went crazy. So it was cool. It became a San Diego Charger day. Read my column. I wrote a column about it today, my one man's opinion column. I go all over the place on all these different topics, but I wrote a column about Hall of Fame Day equals San Diego Charger Day. Take that, Dean Spanos.
Yeah. Well, here's just a follow-up on this from Jason. He goes, loved when Berman only called them the San Diego Chargers. Suck it, Spanos.
I'll sign that memo.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool seeing Berman there because, we always think of him on ESPN, game day and bumbling, going down the line. And then at the Hall of Fame game was Brent Musburger.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Brent Musburger. And I just remember as a kid watching the NFL Today on CBS.
That was in the embryonic years of the development of that show.
Yeah. And that really got me hooked on football. And so in fact, in the early 90s, I had a baseball fantasy league team and my team name was the Brent Musburger Fan Club.
You were a real geek then.
I still am.
Yeah, I agree. I'll sign that memo too.
But I just like seeing like Hall of Fame broadcasters kind of around the Hall of Fame players at the Hall of Fame, and it's cool.
Yeah, it was a great event. The speeches were absolutely phenomenal, and as we flashed up the quotes from Antonio Gates' speech. That was pretty impressive by the person, as well as impressive by the player. Okay, thanks for the comments, Jason. Next one.
Okay, some more Dodger talk with Showtime, and he says, hey, this Dodgers-Padres division race is going to be so fun. Blake Snell looked pretty good outside of 2 Yankee Stadium-type homers. Dodgers rotation looks like what we thought it might be. Outstanding.
I don't know, Dodger bullpen, to me, they did not really address it. They may be strength in numbers, but every one of those numbers in the bullpen's got shaky numbers stapled to their resume. So that remains to be seen. And, Mookie's lost, and we don't know what Muncy's going to be back. They're saying Muncy's going to be activated, but again, he came off a significant knee injury, and he's hardly played at all, and he's only taken batting practice, and I think he took part in 1 rehab game. So are the Dodgers a complete team? Because I swear to you, when we started the podcast last Thursday, the trading deadline show, I thought by the time we got to Thursday night and this thing was done, that they would have made a deal to get a closer, and they would have made a deal to get one of those outfielders, and they didn't do either.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't get it. It was really quiet, but I think it's what we've all known, if they were healthy, they're fine, and that includes left field. That includes everything, it's not just the pitching injuries. If they had everyone back, they're just fine. You have Max Muncy playing third, everything would be good
on paper,
but
it's not that way.
No, it's the weirdest thing about how
Hernandez is not the same guy as he was last year. And Mookie is definitely not the same player. Muncy has been dinged. So I don't know. I'm not going to apologize. I believe what I believe. As of lunchtime today, the Padres have a better team on paper than the Dodgers do. Let's go play the final 50 and see.
Yeah, there's a hard one, pal, right there. It's going to be a fun, we're going in here to what's going to be 6 games head to head between these two teams. And you like seeing the national broadcasters recognizing that Padre Dodgers is the best rivalry in baseball right now.
Especially since Arizona gave up and they got wrecked by injuries and started to trade people away. And San Francisco waved the white flag. They ran out of pitching. Now they run out of hitting. So now what looked like a really good National League West series, it's not that way anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be a good stretch, though. It's going to be great. Okay, let's talk a little football here. More Charger talk from Dale. Because Perriman was in trouble with Houston, not too bright.
Well, I mean, he did some personal foul stuff on the field that got himself in hot water, but I was shocked, when I got the alert on my phone that Perriman got arrested on a gun charge. But it wasn't at 3:00 in the morning. He was on the way to a gun range on a Chargers off day after the Thursday night Hall of Fame game. So hopefully I guess the burning question, were all these guns registered, including the AR-15s? If he had a bunch of illegal weapons, now he's got a problem with the law, and he's going to have a problem with the commissioner's office. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he's been a really good football player since he came into the league when he was here with the San Diego Chargers, Miami Hurricane guy. So I'll give him some space and let's just find out what we find out.
So let's talk about the football side of this whole thing. I mean, what are the linebacker core looking like for the Chargers? Are they doing a 4-3 defense, 3-4? I mean, how many linebackers are we going to be looking at?
One of the strengths of the team is linebacking. I mean, they've got guys all over the place who can run or physical, but Perriman is a piece of that equation. Tuli Tuipulotu is going to replace Joey Bosa, and he had a really good rookie season. Second year, his productivity tailed off. You still got Khalil Mack on the other side, the perennial Pro Bowler, got a lot of miles on that body. I'm going to be intrigued to see, first of all, the Chargers lost both their defensive tackles. Huge issue. They got 8 guys in camp. Only one of them has played any significant minutes, Tier Tart, and he's a journeyman at best. I want to know who's going to play and be the stand-up defensive tackles that Morgan Fox was and that Poona Ford were last year, because they were really the cement blocks in that front. So you got to replace them, and there was no Joey Bosa. And Bosa and Mack made a lot of things happen, and that allowed Tuli to come free to make some plays too. So there's no Joey Bosa there too. So there's a couple of big question marks with the Chargers there, I think. But I do think their linebacking core is very athletic and very active. I love their secondary. I think secondary is deep. Secondary is young. Secondary is led by Derwin James. Got a bunch of kids that they drafted last year, the Tarheeb Stills of the world, who I think are really good players. So back 7 should be good, but we have to see what the front looks like.
Oh, it's football season, man.
Yeah, you asked the question.
Yeah. Here we go. All right, let's talk on football. Let's go here to Casey. He goes, "Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hacksaw, how you think my Rams will do this year?"
I just don't like this story involving Matthew Stafford. We are now into the 3rd week of practices, and he's not on the field. Now, he's gone to see a spine specialist, Dr. Robert Watkins, twice. They're not detailing what's wrong. Now, he worked out in the offseason. He worked out extensively with Devontae Adams and Puka. And there was a vibe there that this is going to really be good, but he's got back stiffness. It just has not gone away. And that's a byproduct of being age 37 and taking a lot of hits because he's been a big, tough guy in the pocket. Sean McVay is not saying that he's going to miss the start of the season, but somewhere along the line in the next couple of weeks, he's got to get on the practice field. And he's got doing game day regimen. He's not going to play in the preseason, but we're 3 weeks in. He hasn't taken a snap. That's not good.
We're 2 gray hair guys, and we're usually going, "Oh, my back," we got trouble.
I am.
Yeah. Can you imagine, playing football when your back is not feeling right?
Right.
I mean, that completely wipes you out. I don't know how you can play.
He's taken so many hits because he's such a tough guy. I think collectively the Rams are really good. If Matthew Stafford can be the 3,700-yard passer that he was last year with the running back, and now you add Devontae Adams with Puka and the tight ends, I think their offense is going to be dynamic, but he's got to be on the field. I think defensively, they're just phenomenal. What they've done with those bleeping draft picks is just amazing. They could be. Do you want me to make a bold prediction now, or do you want to wait till the?
No, go for it, man. Let it rip.
I think they are potential, if Stafford can be Stafford, a potential Super Bowl team. I think they're that close if that quarterback gets back on the field. But we're 3 weeks into camp and he hasn't practiced yet.
Well, they lost to Philly in the snow, didn't they?
Exactly. And they were knocking on the door at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's a good team.
So you heard it here, but we still got time. We got 3 weeks, 4 weeks before we actually get to the start of the season.
Okay, let's talk here a little bit about that Speedway race. Hey, baseball attendance record, LA Coliseum. Oh, by the way, this is from Carlos. Baseball attendance record, LA Coliseum, 2008 Dodgers versus Red Sox. 114,300 fans paid attendance on March 29th, 2008. Why is that not the record? It was preseason. 1959 World Series, 100,000 fans at LA Coliseum.
Well, every baseball story that I read indicated this was because it was a regular season game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and they had they said they had 91, they sold 91,000, whatever it was, plus for the game on Sunday. After having sold 86,000 for the game on Saturday night that got rained out, they opened up and they had more walk-ins coming in. So it was an event.
You know what was interesting is that stadium. Man, those seats are steep. And those turns are banked.
That's a NASCAR track.
Yeah, that was unbelievable the way that thing is built. But usually most NASCAR tracks, I think of them as more wide open. I guess this was like kind of tight.
Well, that's an old school track. It was a bowl like that. So the seats go up like that and it's banked.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about tight racing. That's the origin of NASCAR racing, good old boys back in the 40s and 50s. Old, small, southern tracks, tilted.
Incredible.
Yeah, small tracks, not 2.5 mile Indianapolis Speedway track.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going here. Go to Roberto. And he says, hey, when Michael King comes back, who are we dropping from the pitching staff to the minors? Do you like J.P. Sears going 6 innings tonight in Arizona?
Well, let's just see. He had a high ERA with the Athletics. I think it was 4.59. Pretty competitive young guy. Let's see. They got him tonight. They got Darvish tomorrow. So there's still I think there's some holes here, but obviously Vasquez in his 4+ innings is now gone. King, let's just give him some space. Let's just see what transpires, how his shoulder feels the second day, the third day after he throws his rehab start. I would assume maybe he goes back to El Paso again for another rehab start, but he got banged around. He went, 3 1/3 and gave up 6 runs. He gave up 2 bombs along the way. He was only clocked at 91. But if he has no setbacks and he can do his between start routine of throwing in the bullpen, and he has no setbacks, then you say, okay, let's just continue to track him and continue to build him. It's what the Dodgers did with Snell. Took Snell forever to come back from his shoulder impingement, but he threw 5 rehab starts, but he got progressively better and better. And even though Snell got banged around in this game that in Tampa Bay, he got beat by 2 Chinese home runs, 310 feet, 314 feet down the foul line. Any other ball yard, it would have been an out. And he was electric, and he struck out a ton of guys. So we'll see if Snell is Snell next start.
This Chinese home run thing. I mean, I've never heard that term. But is this like a New York thing because of the Yankee Stadium, Polo Grounds?
Yeah, Polo Grounds.
Yeah, because the
Coogan's Bluff. That's what the Polo Grounds was called. Coogan's Bluff.
Yeah,
because it was laid out, boom, in center field. You needed a truck to get to center field. It was so far away.
And that's where Mays made that catch, right?
Yes, exactly.
Did you see alternate configurations for that Speedway race where they were going to set it up like that, and having the short porches down the lines and half a mile to center field,
here to the South Carolina border.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been kind of cool to do. So I'm thrilled. I mean, I get to see this new pitcher, J.P. Sears, but he definitely seems like a 4 or a 5 in a rotation. But do you think maybe Musgrove is hinting he might be able to come back? What do you think?
He threw 20 pitches in the bullpen, 20 fastballs. That's all. He's thrown none of the other repertoire. So, I mean, we're talking about elevating his bullpens, and let's just see what it's like in August. I think they were talking 9 bullpen sessions between now and the latter stages. He's going to throw twice a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Interesting.
And so let's just see. Is he going to be good enough to work out of the bullpen in mid-September? We'll find out if there's no setbacks. But he's got to be able to throw his full repertoire at max effort. And we're far away from that yet.
Well, how about a 6-man rotation? I mean, the Dodgers are doing it. Why not the Padres?
Well, at this point, Padres have 6 starters? No.
No, I still think Vasquez, I mean, he had a rough outing last time, but he's kind of gotten screwed a lot, and the way they kind of pull him after 2 rounds through the lineup.
Yeah, but they know history. They have all the statistics that when he goes the third time through the lineup, they hit 400 against him.
Yeah, and I saw those numbers on the broadcast. And yeah, it's tough because you root for that guy to have success, and he's kind of been like what Matt Waldron was last year. Some of these guys,
except that Waldron won games. Vasquez won 12 starts, did not win a game.
Well, because they pull him at 4 2/3 all the time.
Okay, we'll see where it goes. Let's just take one game at a time.
Okay, let's go check out our friends here in social media. Got a bunch of stuff over there as well, and okay, let's talk here. Let's talk about the Dodgers. There's always lots of Dodger talk. This is from Salamino Jr. He goes, the Dodgers are stacked. That's why they don't make any moves. The NL West is controlled by LA, but what the Padres did at trade deadline has the remaining 52 games interesting.
The columnists of the LA Times have always got opinions on the Dodgers. They're just writing that the Dodgers screwed this up, that the Dodgers have lost their mystique by letting their little brothers from the South do what they did and win the trading deadline day. You still got to do it on the field. There's no doubt about that. But I'd say this Padre batting order is better than the Dodger batting order right now. Now, there's no doubt Ohtani as a pitcher has really arrived. But there's no doubt that the Padre bullpen is the best bullpen in baseball. And the Padres lineup is better than the Dodger lineup right now. So let them play it out. People are upset. People are so upset that I have an opinion on this. I'm not allowed on my podcast. I am not allowed to have an opinion.
Well, they're all saying like, well, who are you a fan of? Who are you rooting for? We saw some of those on Instagram, they can't figure you out. But yeah, the Padres are much improved, but man, like at catcher, it's not even close. Even though we got the Furminator, I mean, Will Smith is a whole other
another galaxy.
Yeah, he is. And we can make that argument in a lot of other positions around first base, Freddie Freeman, way the hell better than what the Padres have. Mm-hmm. I mean, so
although Arise is a multi-time batting champion, but Freeman's a different first baseman.
Freeman is above him. Yeah, Arise is all right. But I don't know. I just think you look at the pitching staff, all those guys coming back. I mean, we love our pitchers in San Diego, but if you had who was the tall Glasnow, if Glasnow and Snell are pitching like they're capable of, we have nobody on our roster that can play at that level.
And you got a bullpen by.
Yeah.
You got a bullpen problem.
Well, yeah. Well, although the Dodgers know how to play the bullpen game. They know what buttons to push in which innings.
Past tense, last fall.
Yeah, last fall.
Not right now.
Okay.
I mean, your sales pitching me history, and the Dodger bullpen has a collective ERA of 4.51.
Really?
What are you lying to these people for?
Okay, let's keep moving on. And okay, here's some Chargers talk, and this is from Brian. He goes, Lee, the game is bigger than civic pride. He's angry about the Chargers working out in San Diego.
Oh, I thought he was angry at me because I wrote a column mocking Spanos. The game is big. Civic pride is important. Do you agree or disagree with me that Dean Spanos could have been revered forever if he would have put his own money into the stadium project that they'd already put in place? He would have been revered forever for saving the team and getting a stadium built. Instead, he's reviled forever for taking 55 years of loyalty and fleeing to Los Angeles, where he's on the outer periphery of popularity. Nobody thinks of them equal to the Rams. Nobody thinks of them equal to the Dodgers. Nobody thinks of them equal to the Lakers. So what are we talking about here? He did it to take money, plain and simple, when the money was here and he could have had the market. I wish I could take Dean Spanos to sit at a game at Petco Park and say, see what you left? Because that was NFL crowd support for the San Diego Chargers. Now it's all become San Diego Padre crowd support because the Padres have done such a great job packaging good product on the field, Petco destination point, and Spanos left that.
It's interesting how people build loyalties with teams. Like, sometimes it's your childhood team, that you grew up with, that you'll always love and you'll always be a fan of, and you'll follow them wherever they go. But then sometimes, like we're here in San Diego, and the Chargers are the NFL team, and they're the local team. We get all the news. We kind of start rooting for them when you move into town. And, you might still have your childhood team, but you're going to root for the local team too. And then when the owner of the local team says, F you, I'm out of here. Well, then, yeah, I mean, I care more about, like, for me as a football fan, I was a Charger fan for the purposes of civic pride. And I was a Niners and Raiders fan in terms of my
bloodlines.
My bloodlines. And I think a lot of fans kind of have that. So I disagree here. I think civic pride plays a role in how people root for their teams.
Sure. If the product is really good, yeah. But there's a lot of natives that have been here. I met a guy this morning in the fitness center, native, old AFL, Balboa Stadium AFL days, the Coryell and the Pro Throw AFL Chargers.
Holy hell.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. That's a lot of third downs ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was cool. Okay, thanks for the input. Next one.
Okay, let's keep moving here. Okay, someone wants to take a shot at you about the conferences. And he goes, hey, Chief. This is from Limmy Tom. Chief, get the narrative correct. Memphis's sponsorship is FedEx, Lowe's, and AutoZone, not American Express. And Memphis said no to the Pac-12, bad deal, and not the other way around.
Well, I was told that they went to the Pac-12 and offered take us and allow us to bring our corporate money in and be football only. And the Pac-12 said no. Didn't make any sense geographically. Memphis is just kind of left out there by themselves. The sexy conference they're in is not a sexy conference. What should happen is, to me, I know I have a lot of history with West Virginia. West Virginia in the Big 12 makes zero sense.
Yeah.
West Virginia and Memphis are Mid-South teams. They ought to be in the ACC. They're not going to get into the Southeastern Conference. Go to the ACC. ACC is grasping for straws about how they can grow and be really good. Memphis and West Virginia make a hell of a lot of sense there rather than being in the Big 12. And none of it makes sense in the Pac-12 to me.
I think we got to forget the whole geography part of this because it doesn't apply. Mm-hmm. Even though the Pac-12 is like by the Pac Ocean, it doesn't, no one cares about that anymore. But I'll say this is that whenever we drop these segments here, like about Memphis Blues, about, conference realignment, it's incredible how many views we get for that particular category. People are passionate
about their university or their history or their conference.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have opinions on all these other conferences and who's legit, who belongs, who doesn't belong. It's a wild kind of subculture of sports interest.
We put topics on the table and we do talk about them. Agree or disagree, doesn't matter. A couple more.
Okay, here. This is from a Dodger fan from Creflo. He goes, hey, just need to stay healthy. Dodgers are still stacked. 27 innings, remember? Or was it 24?
24 shutout innings in a row. But a bunch of those guys that authored the 24 shutout innings are no longer there. Dodgers are really good. But I think right now, by virtue of buying on the credit card, as A.J. Preller did, he spent his currency, spent all of his currency. I think the Padres are better on paper than the Dodgers are right now. We got 50 games to find out who's going to win the division.
Yeah. And again, it's going to be terrific. But those 24 innings, man, that was brutal.
That was hard to believe it was seen in front of me.
Yeah. It was like a tortured, kind of a situation that they just couldn't friggin' score. That's like 2.5 games.
Yeah.
2 2/3 games. Nothing. Big goose egg.
And got beat by bullpen days, which I would have never, ever imagined they would have lost those games.
They had a 2-1 lead going into game 4 at home.
In a bullpen day.
In a bullpen day for the Dodgers. Everything was lined up for the Padres, and then they laid an egg.
They stopped hitting. I hate to use the word choke.
It was a choke. It was awful. To me, it's the San Diego sports curse. That's what it is.
I'm not cursed. I'm a San Diego.
No, well, I mean, but our sports teams. I mean, let's be real. How many championships we got here? I mean, you got to go back to 63 for the Chargers, and the Chargers aren't even here anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's keep on trucking and let's see, Padres, Aztecs. Let's do this Padre one right here from Charlie. He goes, the Padres are dumb. Not only did they give up top 5 overall prospect for a reliever, they didn't even trade Robert Suarez, who we'll lose in 2026. Now I think they will make Miller a starter in 2026. But it's a head scratcher.
The only issue with Miller is there's a history of arm injuries as a starter, and that's why he eventually wound up being a closer with the Oakland Athletics and has developed into a really good one. Again, you're asking a guy who got hurt as a starter to go back to be a starter, which means a wider variety of max effort pitches, considering this guy can throw 102, 104 on short burst. I don't know if he's going to be a starter. Evidently, they couldn't get what they wanted for Suarez or Cease. I could understand Cease because he kind of had such a substandard season. But if you're asking a pennant contender, I was told that he was going to go to Boston. I was told that the Duran deal for the left fielder was going to be a mega deal, and it involved a whole bunch of farm system players. But then the Dodgers did not want to give up Duran to rent a guy for 2 months when that guy's going to be a free agent. And Suarez is going to put himself on the open market on November 1st. So Preller couldn't get what he wanted from a player standpoint. And he wasn't trading Suarez just to trade Suarez unless he could get Duran in the deal. And Boston kind of backed away. And then Boston kind of backed away on Cease only because he was so mechanically flawed this season, and nobody's been able to get him back under control. And I know you're going to argue, well, look what he did against the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals are dead. The Cardinals are anemic right now. So he could have dominated, did dominate, but that's one start. We'll see if he duplicates it again.
Wouldn't you be disappointed, though, if AJ played it cautiously, kind of like the Dodgers? Hey, we'll just wait for our guys to kind of all get healthy. I mean, I would have been really disappointed.
Well, I think it's a lot of pressure on AJ. He's promised so much. He's spent so much. And if they don't win the division this year, if they don't go deep in the playoffs this year, we're 11 years into this MO without success.
Did you see there was an article written about him in the New York Times?
Yes.
Yeah. So, this guy gets national publicity for being this eccentric GM.
Yeah. He's just really different.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy being around him. He and I go after each other all the time because he grew up in the next community over on Long Island.
Ah.
Yeah. He's from South Huntington and I'm from Northport, and we go back and forth.
Nice.
About history.
Well, I remember he was texting you after one of your commentaries. He didn't like what you had to say.
Oh, yeah. He called me over the Christmas holidays about something I said. And that's okay. I wish him a Merry Christmas and thanks for following. He's a good guy. I like him. He is really cut from a different cloth. Trust me.
I want to see him play basketball at the La Jolla Y or something like that. I bet he'd be fun to watch on the court.
No, he'd shoot the three.
Yeah. And he's probably very competitive.
Okay, let's do one more here.
Okay, let's get this Aztec comment. And this is from Genshin Roshi. He says, it all goes back to the administration. They were happy with the mediocrity, never invested in the program until the Qualcomm fell apart, gave Rocky a bare bones salary for his offensive coordinator, took Rocky for granted, and he left. Then they hired back Michigan man who left like a third in the night. He failed at every stop after that, a career 540 coach. The prices were sky high. Now it's just bad planning, not knowing your market.
Yeah, they've made an awful lot of mistakes in football, and they've gone through some tough times in football. The COVID situation, the crumbling stadium, that didn't help along the way. But at the end of the day, appreciate what Rocky and Brady did. I mean, they were a combined 106-48. Might not have been sexy football, might not have been throw it down the field football, but that was take no prisoner football. That was power football, and we're going to play great defense. 106-48 is a hell of a record. And bowl games. Now, granted, they're stuck in the Mountain West. And as our community has emotionally grown, our community is attached to all the special things. A lot of glitz. Well, the glitz is the Pac-12. Throw the damn football all over the place. And they thought they were going to be in the Pac-12, and they got waylaid, and they got sidetracked, and Pac-12 backed out on them, and then the Pac-12 caved in and collapsed. So it's just a lot of things that worked against him. I don't know how you bring this thing back. I know Sean Lewis, and I know what he did at Kent State, which was an abysmal place to go work, and hasn't won since he left. I think they're 1-23 since he left as head coach. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be Mountain West Conference football, even though it might be under a Pac-12 flag. It's just not going to be Southern Cal or UCLA or Oregon or Washington. And until you're playing the big boys on a consistent basis, I just don't think this community is going to wrap their arms around it, which is too bad. So.
It's interesting when you think about sports programs. In a lot of cases, they're like a advertising or public relations for the school, to attract students, attract money. And so, here are the Aztecs. They've now gone up to the Pac-12. You can call it Mountain West 2.0, but it's a slight upgrade. Now they're, I don't know what's the designation, but they're at the top research level, kind of like UCSD. They get a lot more grant money for, research projects. And I know they're celebrating that on campus at San Diego State. So you would hope that the administration and the athletic director and the head coach of each of the teams are all on track together. They're all aligned, because the Aztecs can't be trying to build a world-class university when their sports programs suck. I mean, granted, basketball is good, but football has been troubled.
Yeah, for a long time. So I wish I had an explanation. I wish I had a blueprint to make it better, but I think they missed the boat.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want Sean Lewis to be successful. Hopefully this is the year. Hopefully these new recruits and these quarterbacks from Michigan, I'm just praying it turns out.
Well, continuity. If you can keep players, he'll grow this thing. But if they have this kind of turnover every year because somebody's buying his players every year, how do you make progress there? So it's a tough thing. But we have Aztec basketball, which is a national treasure, which is really
Some
cool.
people saying maybe a top 10 program.
I think so.
Yeah, I could. I mean, if everything goes right, it could be top 10.
We hope you have enjoyed this podcast. We put topics on the table because we do sports talk the way it should be done. Love having you with us. We thank you for being part. We've started our third year. We're approaching our 300th podcast, which is absolutely amazing that he's tolerated me for 300 and I've tolerated his opinions from left field for 300 shows. This podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Build it, fix it, guarantee you'll enjoy it. Thanks to Dixieline Lumber. Go to Dixieline.com to see all the things they have to offer. John, take a deep breath. Enjoy what's coming up. We'll be back Thursday at 1:30 with more.
Yeah. Pennant races, football talk. We got a lot going on.
You have yourself a great day. We'll see you come Thursday on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.